Hello, everyone. For my culminating project, I'll be examining an ethical issue involving inclusion, belonging, and participant behavior in a community music program for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This topic is especially meaningful to me because it reflects challenges that can arise in adaptive and inclusive music programs and raises important questions about ethical leadership, stakeholder responsibility, and organizational values. The purpose of this project is to examine how leaders should respond when a participant in an inclusive music program displays aggressive, verbal, and disruptive behaviors, but clearly benefits from participation. The central question I will explore is how organizations can balance inclusion, participant dignity, and community well being while remaining true to their mission and values. The case involves a participant in an inclusive ukulele class who regularly exhibits aggressive verbal and disruptive behaviors. These behaviors include shouting over instructors, interrupting music activities, arguing with volunteers, making inappropriate comments towards peers, and refusing to follow directions. While these behaviors can disrupt rehearsals and make it difficult for instructors to maintain a positive learning environment, the situation is more complicated than simply deciding whether the participant should remain in the class. What makes this situation ethically complex is that the participant clearly benefits from participating in the music program. The individual enjoys attending class, actively participates in music making activities, has developed friendships with other participants, and demonstrates growth in musical skills. Family members report that the participant looks forward to class each week and often talks positively about the experience afterward. The class provides opportunities for social connection, self expression, confidence building, and community engagement through music. At the same time, the participant's behavior affects the experience of others in the class. Research suggests that social inclusion and a sense of belonging remain significant challenges for many adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Despite increasing opportunities for community participation, and this is from Sandcliffe et al. 2023 and Walker et al. 2022. Individuals with IDD continue to experience barriers to meaningful relationships and full participation in community life. Programs that promote connection, friendship, and engagement can therefore play an important role in supporting quality of life and overall well being. Research has also demonstrated that a sense of belonging is strengthened when individuals feel respected, accepted, valued, and connected to others through shared experiences. And that's from Jor and Bina 2023. Inclusive music programs create opportunities for these experiences by fostering collaboration, social interaction, creativity, and self expression. Music based interventions have been associated with improvements in communication, social participation, emotional well being, and overall quality of life for individuals with intellectual disabilities. That's according to Jacob et al. 2022. For this participant, the class is more than a recreational activity. It is an important opportunity for community participation, friendship, and personal growth. At the same time, the participant's behavior affects others in the ensemble. Some participants become distracted or uncomfortable when verbal outbursts occur. Volunteers report feeling stressed and uncertain about how to respond. Instructors might divide their attention between teaching music and managing disruptive behaviors. Family members of other participants may question whether the learning environment remains appropriate for their loved ones. Key stakeholders include the participant exhibiting disruptive behavior, fellow participants, family members, volunteers, instructors, program administrators, and the organization itself. This creates an ethical dilemma for organizational leaders. The mission of the program is to provide meaningful access to music and foster inclusion for adults with disabilities. Removing the participant from the class would limit access to an activity that provides substantial social, emotional, and educational benefits. However, allowing disruptive behaviors to continue without intervention may negatively impact the musical and social experiences of other participants. To analyze this issue, I will use the ethical decision-making framework described by Desjardins 2024. This framework involves understanding the facts, identifying the ethical issues, recognizing stakeholders, evaluating impacts, considering alternatives, making a decision, and evaluating the results. The ethical theory that I find most relevant to this case is virtue ethics. Virtue ethics focuses on the character of the leader and the virtues demonstrated through decision making. In this case, leaders must balance compassion for the participant with fairness to the larger ensemble. Virtues such as patience, empathy, courage, respect, and practical wisdom can help leaders navigate competing responsibilities while remaining committed to the values of inclusion and belonging. And that's from Desjardins 2024. Rather than asking what decision produces the greatest benefit, virtue ethics asks what a good and ethical leader would do in this situation. The second theory is Kantian ethics. Kantian ethics emphasizes respect for persons and the inherent dignity of every individual. Again, that's according to Desjardins 2024. This perspective reminds leaders that the participant should not be excluded simply because accommodating their needs is difficult or inconvenient. The participant possesses intrinsic worth and should be treated with dignity and respect. At the same time, other participants also deserve respect and the opportunity to participate in a safe, supportive musical environment. Ethical leadership requires recognizing the value and dignity of every member of the ensemble. For my final paper, I plan to explore several possible responses. These include implementing a behavior support plan, increasing staffing or volunteer support, involving caregivers more directly, modifying instructional practices, and providing additional accommodations that may allow the participant to continue participating while protecting the learning experience of others. Research examining challenging behaviors among adults with intellectual disabilities highlights the importance of balancing individual support needs with the well-being of the broader community. That's according to Smeets et al. 2024. At this stage, I'm less interested in finding the easiest solution and more interested in finding the most ethically defensible solution. I selected this topic because it highlights a challenge that many inclusive arts and community music programs face. Music has the power to bring people together, promote belonging, and create meaningful opportunities for social participation. However, leaders must often navigate difficult ethical questions when the needs of one participant affect the experience of others. While outcomes and consequences matter, I'm particularly interested in how ethical leaders can make decisions that reflect compassion, dignity, fairness, and respect for persons. Ultimately, the central question of my project is not whether inclusion is important, rather it is how leaders can uphold inclusion while also honoring their responsibilities to the broader community. I believe this case provides an opportunity to explore how organizations can remain committed to belonging, dignity, and meaningful participation while addressing real-world challenges that arise in inclusive settings. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to your feedback and suggestions as I continue developing this project. This is the final slide, and it contains references that have informed my proposal and will serve as the foundation for the research supporting my final paper. Thank you.